AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook Group. Talent Spotlights. From BTE to Dynamite to Dark. The All Elite Hour. Links to classic matches. And so much more. AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook Group. Join the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook group today.
What's up, and welcome to episode number 28 of the All Elite Hour. My name is Brian with MARKEDOUT Wrestling Podcast, and before we get started, this episode is brought to you by the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook group. Go join the Facebook group. It is my favorite source for anything All Elite Wrestling. You get past interviews, you get past matches, you get any kind of news, rumors. If there is a free agent out there that you think is flirting with AEW, it's probably being talked about as we speak. So go join that group. It's the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook group. It's a private group, so you just have to answer a couple questions, and then you're in. You also have a chance to submit a question for this podcast. So you could do that when you join the group, or you could just email it to us. It's at allelitehourpodcast@gmail.com, or you could send it to us on Twitter. That's at allelitehour, or join the fucking group, and we usually throw up a post, and that's where you could submit the questions. But that brings us to where we are right now. So this episode, we have a full cast of characters on this one. We've got myself, we've got Brian, aka the Cat, we've got Pat from the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook group, but we also have Kyle. He's also one of the admins from the group, and we have a special guest. We have JR from WrestleJoy. He is one of the contributors to the website WrestleJoy.com, and as is our own Kyle. So we've got a good mix of personalities on this show to answer some of the questions that you guys have sent in. I don't want to fucking keep wasting my breath, so let's just get right into this episode.
This is a revolution. I am the demo god.
All Elite.
Wrestling squeeze is settled.
I want a match that is
Wonderful.
Did John Silver fuck this up?
A paradigm shift.
You wanna kick my friend in his dick?
It's the FTW World Championship.
Bubbly.
All right, Kenny's got to be cool, right?
The All Elite best tag team division in the world.
Not the Dippin' Dots! The damn Dippin' Dots didn't do anything to anybody!
Joining me, we're just going to get right into it. Of course, we've got Kyle from WrestleJoy and from the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion group. Kyle, how are you, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Yeah,
and
good.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. Actually, thank you guys for listening. We've also got we've got Brian with a Y. He is also an admin from the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook group. Brian, aka I'm still gonna call you the Cat. I'm sorry, it's an old habit. You're the Cat to me still, but I guess I'll call you Brian with a Y. How are you, bro?
I'm alive and kicking, man. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm not really on Discord anymore, but yeah, a lot of people knew me from Discord as the Cat.
Okay.
So, I guess it's gonna stick.
Yeah, it kind of sticks to me, at least to me, or maybe I'm biased because I'm also Brian, but I spell mine with an I, so,
Yep.
you know. Anyway, and we've also got Pat joining us. He is also an admin from the discussion group. Pat, how are you, my friend? This is the first time we're actually kind of, I think, on the line with each other, so this is cool.
Yeah, I'm making my podcast debut here. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, there we go. And joining us also, we've got JR, and he is a contributor from WrestleJoy along with Kyle. So JR, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for being on. And so on this episode, of course, you know, we're all a part of the AEW discussion Facebook group. JR, actually, are you a part of the AEW Facebook group?
Yes, I am.
You are? Okay, thank God. All right. So all these questions came from, they were submitted from everybody that's in the group, but also they were submitted on Twitter. If you want to go submit a question, you can do that. You can send it an email to us. It's at All Elite Hour All Elite Hour Podcast at gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on Twitter, you can go to at All Elite Hour. You can send a question over there. Bing, bang, boom. So let's get right into it. The first one, I'm going to throw this one to this is going to go to Pat and Brian, or Pat and the Cat. If you guys were a tag team, you can go by that name, right? Like a Dr. Seuss theme or something.
The Pat and Cat sync.
Yeah, Pat and the Cat. All right, let's see. So, this question comes from Quentis. Thank you for the question, Quentis. So, let's see. He asks, do you see the Dark Order stable be around for another 6 months? What are your thoughts about Brody Lee as a leader so far? And do you think that they can reach a status almost like the Bullet Club in a couple years? So I'll go to you, Brian, first. What do you think about that?
Yes, I see Dark Order sticking around for at least another 6 months. As far as Brody Lee as a leader, he's done great with it, and they've definitely laid the foundations for somebody to try to overthrow him at some point down the road, with him just being a total dick of a leader.
Right.
Can they reach Bullet Club status in a couple? No. I don't think anybody will ever get as hot as Bullet Club did when they were, at the height of their full success over in Japan.
Sure. Not even like, what about like the Inner Circle? You think they can get to like Bullet Club status?
I don't know. It's debatable. I mean, there was it was a crazy time in wrestling. There was, so many fans were just left wandering in the midst of the ECW, WCW collapses and all that, just trying to find something to enjoy. And they come across these bucks of youth running around and like, okay, what are these guys?
Right.
Damn, doing a lot of really cool stuff. I like this. I can get behind.
All right. Well, Pat, what about you? Do you have any differing opinions about this, or what do you think about the Dark Order so far?
So far, actually, I found them to be kind of disappointing. I disagree. It's got an interesting concept, and I agree. Brody Lee, probably they're going to turn on him at some point. He's going to separate, go his own way, and a new leader will emerge, and there'll be some kind of like inner turmoil between them. But I found it to be kind of disappointing. It's kind of a stable where they throw, the mid-card bad guys, put a mask on them. They have a place to go. They have, something to do. Mm-hmm. But there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of backstory. I like to go into a little bit more of, how he has this mind control over them and how they came to be and what exactly their goal as a unit is. And I think that's what's lacking in the storyline right now. And hopefully they're going to correct that and give it a little more direction here coming up.
All right. So I'll ask you flat out, though. Do you think they're going to be around for another 6 months?
Yeah, I think they're going to continue to use them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be around for the long haul as well.
Right. It's going to be like that heel group for the immediate future. I'd say at least the next couple of years.
Right. Hey, Pat, real quick. Do you have are you speaking into the phone, or do you have, it's a little hard to hear.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of backed up there. So that a little bit better?
It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Yeah. All right. So let's keep it moving. This one is going to go to, let's see. You know what? Let's ask you, JR. I want to ask your opinion about this. Oh, actually, no. I want to keep that one. Sorry. I'm going to go back because that's the one that we're going to save for the end. Sorry. My fault. All right.
I know which one.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This one comes from Mark. All right. So JR, he asks, do you feel AEW is doing a disservice to the women's division by having the Deadly Draw tournament on a separate YouTube video rather than being on Dynamite or even Dark? What do you think?
That's a very good question, and I actually was doing a lot of research on that one right now. When I'm looking at the AEW's women's roster, a very significant portion of that women's roster isn't available right now. In addition to that, some of these women they have are up-and-comers who, just to be completely honest, are not exactly they're not crisp in the ring. I'm watching even the tournament on YouTube yesterday, which I think yesterday was a lot better than the previous week. You see misses, they're not hitting some of their spots, and it's just completely honest. And I think when you look at on Wednesday on Dynamite on TNT, if you had put, for example, the matches from the first week on Dynamite, I think you would see a pretty significant decrease in ratings.
Sure.
And I think one of the things that I think it's good that they have this. It's different than Dark. It gives us more content. I like what they did with bringing in Veda Scott, Shaw Guerrero, and Medusa.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest mistakes that they made, though, was not introducing the concept ahead of time, having Chris Jericho announce matchups before we even got to the first episode of the Deadly Draw. And then in addition to that, not explaining what the Deadly Draw was ahead of time. I think if they would have put together some video packages of that, that would have been great. I definitely do think that the final needs to be Dynamite, at least, if not on All Out.
Well, just to kind of jump on that too, I think with the Deadly Draw, the tournament being on people are saying that it's kind of a negative thing, that it's on a whole separate show. But I mean, you can also look at it that they're taking a whole time just dedicated for this tournament and adding it to their YouTube content. So I mean, in that sense, it's kind of like, it's pretty cool that they have this whole their own separate thing that they're able to do just by itself, and they get all the spotlight. So that's one way of looking at it also.
In addition to that, I agree with that, because if you look at how much time did those women have for those matches in the first 2 episodes of Daily Draw versus how much time they would have had on Dynamite.
Right.
And there was an example that somebody said was, if you had put these matches on Dynamite, what would you cut out from Dynamite? And the last 2 episodes of Dynamite have been, in my opinion, were really, the one with the 10-man tag, it did great ratings. This week was even better. But when I look at it, I don't think there's a whole lot I would cut from there to put in these matches. And I think by having this on its own show, it's putting more of a spotlight, and YouTube's free for everybody. A lot of people just don't have cable. I know a lot of people, like for me, I'm a cord cutter, so it's kind of difficult for me to watch TNT. I have to go, use my parents' information to help watch TNT through the app. But in addition to that, I know people that watch it through Fight.tv. So I think by having more content on YouTube, and we've been going this way for a long period of time, is putting not just free content, but just streaming in general. So I think it's a positive. It's giving them more time. I just think at this current moment, the first 2 rounds are not a fit. And I think by having that spotlight on its own would be better. They definitely should have done video packages, though. That's one thing that they should have done on Dynamite.
Right. Yeah, to kind of highlight who all the women are and why they're there, and just give a little backstory, I guess, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, thank you for that. That was really insightful. Let's keep going. All right. Next one comes from, actually, did I even add that last one is from Mark. I'm sorry. That was from Mark. So thank you for that question, Mark. That was a good one. All right. So the next one is, this one, actually, this one is for Kyle. And I don't know if this is from like our MJ or this is just another MJ.
It's a different MJ.
It's a different MJ. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. So this is from MJ. Thank you for the question, MJ. And, they ask, who should take the belt from Moxley? And, I'll throw that to you, Kyle. What do you think?
All right. So, I actually have my own theory on this.
Mm-hmm.
All because of here recently it's been brought to my attention, that Kenny Omega on Twitter, his pinned tweet till this very day, almost a year later, is still about his loss to Mox at Full Gear. And I think he pinned that for a reason. Like I know AEW, is real big on storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And so my theory, and this week, all of a sudden they decided to make Jurassic Express versus Kenny and Hangman for the tag titles. My theory is Jurassic Express is going to win them. Kenny, due to something that Hangman's going to do, Kenny's going to get pissed, turn on Hangman. They're going to do Kenny and Hangman all out. And then Kenny's going to, after Kenny beats Hangman, he's going to be into a program with Mox at Full Gear for the championship where he's going to finally beat him, but as a heel. And everything's going to come full circle.
Huh. Wow. Hey, if that plays out, I would not hate that. That actually, that sounds like a good idea to me. Although, I mean, do you feel that the Jurassic Express, do you think them getting the belts on Dynamite, do you think that's like a good move?
I think it's just to take the belts off Kenny Hangman to set up the Kenny Hangman
Sure.
match. Like I'm pretty sure that they'll lose it. They'll probably. My theory is they'll face FTR at All Out, and they'll drop them to FTR. So they'll only hold them for like 3 weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, actually, you know what? I'll throw it to the rest of the group. Does anyone have any kind of like a differing opinion on that, or does anyone see Jurassic Express not winning the belts next week? No.
No, I don't really have much to add on that as far as the Jurassic Express part. I like the explanation there with the storytelling for Omega taking the title eventually.
Yeah, right.
I kind of want to see MJF get it. To me, Moxley is more of a live crowd kind of champ, and it just sucks for him right now because we're in the state of what we're in. Mm-hmm. We don't have the live crowds. MJF can do a lot with it, with the audience being at home right now.
It's true. It's very true.
I mean, just to add on top of that it's very I like that theory a lot, and I think it's a great theory. It's kind of hard though to see what the goals are going to be for AEW for the rest of the year, because I think there's, for example, I'll take FTR versus the Young Bucks, and I don't see how any way that match will happen without a live crowd. And to see a match like Moxley versus Omega, if we still don't have live crowds come November, I think that's just going to be, it's one of those things where what can they put on content right now that we're going to love and be okay not seeing in person, versus what are they going to try to hold out on for us to come back to? For example, Blood and Guts. And I think it's one of the things is if we have that Omega heel turn, he goes against Moxley, for which would be their second match. Can they do that without an audience? That would be my only question. And no one knows besides the AEW execs and Tony Khan.
It's very true. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the catalyst will be to kind of separate, because we all know it's coming, right? It's been coming for forever. It almost seems like ever since they really won the belts. It's like, all right, well, how soon? What's going to happen? What's going to be the rift between the two? Yeah, between Hangman and Kenny. So hopefully it happens. You know, I'm with you, Kyle, man. I hope that something happens next week.
Also, to add to that, there's been all kinds of pieces on BTE that Kenny's about to turn heel, and everybody had seemed to always think that Hangman's going to turn on Kenny, but I saw right through that. Hangman's too over as a face to turn.
Yep.
It's going to be Kenny.
Yep. Yeah, and like you said, they even addressed it on BTE. They were saying that I think the Bucks were saying that they wanted the cleaner Kenny, and instead they got a DDT Kenny, which it's fine, it's totally fine, but all right. So, oh man, just the thought of a heel Kenny now in AEW is kind of
Hangman. I don't know if y'all caught it on BTE. Hangman also the Bucks made jokes saying that they wanted New Japan Kenny, the one who did 75-minute matches, and Hangman said 75-minute matches. So like, I ain't teaming with you.
All right. Let's keep this train going. Next one. I'm going to throw this one to Pat first, and then we'll see if anyone has a different opinion. So Pat, this one comes from Ralph. Thank you for the question, Ralph. And he asks, do you think Chris Jericho should go in quarantine for 2 weeks?
Absolutely not. No.
Really?
You know what? I believe they're doing testing, and I believe they've got it under control. If he starts coming down with symptoms, that's different. But no. I don't feel it's necessary for him to go in quarantine. I'm not a medical expert, so my opinion really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But unless he's showing he's sick, no.
Right. Does anyone else have different feelings towards that? Do you think he should? I mean, he went to fucking Sturgis. There was like a zillion people there.
From what I heard, I heard, like, I don't know how true it is, and I keep hearing different things. I heard that his match with Orange Cassidy has already been filmed.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that it was filmed ahead of time. I guess they knew he was doing these Fozzy shows.
Huh.
He said on his Saturday night special that he didn't even that even he agreed that these shows should be canceled. Like I'm pretty sure that this was like something, he didn't have to do the shows, but I think it was like pressure from management and his labels to do it all,
perhaps,
dude, and everything.
Right.
But like he said that Fozzy stayed on the bus the entire time, and then when they played the show, so like people's been like flipping out over like the picture that got posted of showing the crowd and Fozzy. That picture is from like an overhead shot. You can't see the gap that's between Jericho and the barricade. Like if you've ever been to a Fozzy concert or any kind of concert, you know that there's a big gap between the stage and barricade, and I'm pretty sure that was like at least 6 feet or more. And with all the band members being tested, I don't see too big of an issue there unless he was around unless he got out in the crowd and was around people, which I think he just stayed on stage.
Right.
And stayed on the bus the entire time. So I don't think he actually interacted with anybody.
I mean, let's hope not. I just hope that this doesn't cause any kind of shit with AEW or but I mean I really do think. I'm sorry, go on.
Like if he didn't take those precautions and he was interacting with people, and if his match with Orange Cassidy isn't filmed, then I do think that he probably should be. He should probably get tested, and they should hold off until they know if he's negative or not. Just possibly stop the risk of spreading it to anybody in AEW.
Sure, I'm with you. I mean, he could just go back to his palatial estate and just kind of lay low and hang out with his dogs and whatever. Alrighty. Let's see. All right. This next one, let's see. This one goes to you, Brian. This question comes from Elijah, and Elijah asked, who do you all think from Dark will be signed to the second show or the quote-unquote main roster?
My girl, Danny Jordan. Sign her. Get her signed.
I second that.
Sign her.
Agreed.
God, get that girl signed. Do you realize how much of a boost you give your women's division with that woman? Like, she's young, she's got a great following, and you can do so much with that character.
Oh yeah, you really can.
I agree.
I think we all can agree. JR, are you familiar with Danny Jordan?
Yes, and I think she's a great talent. I love her character, the Mean Girls thing. I've never seen that movie, but from what people told me, I think it's great. I actually thought that she could team potentially with Leva Bates in the tournament before they announced it was going to be Battle Bowl. I thought it would be a great mix. And let me throw out a few other names because I've thought about this for a while.
Sure.
I really want Ivelisse, Diamante, and Skylar Moore for the women. In addition, on the guy side, Sheer Duckerton, aka Pineapple Pete, Sean Dean, and Will Hobbs. I think all of them have tremendous looks. Some of them are veterans of the game. I think there'll be a boost. And I know it's kind of hard for some people to say because a lot of fans think, well, AEW has a full roster. Like, we really can't handle more wrestlers. But Tony Khan has actually gone out and said, like, they are in acquisition mode still.
Yeah, and do you know anything actually, since we're talking about it, have you heard anything about that second show that's supposed to be coming that, I mean, I haven't really heard too much. From what I heard, the contract's already signed for it and everything, and like it's for sure happening. There's been no date or day announced that it's going to be on the week. I heard that they're waiting till the pandemic kind of slows down to debut it. But people that I've talked to, they heard that it was going to be on a Sunday. On a Sunday, Yeah. Sunday Night Heat? They're bringing that back? I would love that. That would be phenomenal, right?
But from what I heard, that it was basically going to be like Dark, but with like a tank of like HBO boxing documentaries.
Sure.
It was gonna be like matches. It was gonna be like dark. It had matches, but it also had like those kind of promos and
Right.
victories for people and everything.
I think that would be awesome. That would be really cool. And I hope that they still treat it like, because they even do it with Dark too. Even though on Dark you have a lot of these new faces. I mean, I feel like still there's no one really that's like above it. You know, I mean, Moxley's had a match, Cage has had a match there. Has Omega ever been on Dark before?
Yeah, him and
right.
Him and Joey Janela had like one of the best Dark matches during the first few weeks.
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that they keep that kind of mentality with this new show. Because
I actually
that'd be
found
really cool.
something. This was an interview that Tony Khan did with Eric Bischoff on A3 Weeks. That was on YouTube.
Okay.
And it says, simply put, it won't be a clone of Dynamite or the weekly YouTube show Dark. I have a lot of time to think about different formats. It will probably be a 1 hour show. We do have a different idea for format. It still involves wrestling, which is the most important thing to me, that there will be wrestling matches, but in a different format. Exactly what we've seen, but I'm not sure. I have an idea that reinvents the wheel, but I think we can do some fun stuff. We are surrounded by a lot of creative people. I think, and just to add to that, I think a lot of times when you see it in new shows, it always comes around fall. So if they do it this year, it's probably hopefully around October. That's typically when the fall, like the new shows debut is in October.
Right. What do they call it? Sweeps season, I believe, or something like that. I don't know. Something like that.
Dude, what if they do it on like near the anniversary of Dynamite?
Ooh, I wouldn't hate that.
Because Dynamite started October 2nd.
That's a very good point. That's something that the plot thickens. That's a good. Well, that's a date to kind of keep in mind then.
Yeah,
that's right.
To add to JR's like response, I agree. Like all those would be great additions to the roster, but also somebody who hadn't been on Dynamite, who's been on Dark, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows that once he's done with MLW, he's for sure going to AEW. Will be Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems like he's already publicly kind of asked.
Oh yeah, he has
to get out of there for whatever reason.
He's not like hiding it. He's even says in interviews he's actively trying to get released. Released from MLW.
He's got to watch that episode of Seinfeld when Costanza is trying to get fired from Kruger. Or is he? No, he's trying to keep his job. I forget what it was. I don't know. Oh no, he's trying to get fired from the Yankees. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
He drove around with the fucking World Series trophy on his car. Yeah, that's right. Alrighty. So, let's keep going. This next one comes from Paul, and I'm going to throw this to you, Pat. And his question is, by all appearances, AEW seems to continue teasing a 4 horsemen type faction. How do you feel this actually comes to fruition? And with that, do you think they actually use the term 4 horsemen, as it will place great pressure on the company and faction members because of the history attached to the name? What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, no, I think they're just teasing it at this point. I don't think it's actually going to happen.
Really?
I really don't. I think they're just teasing it. I think there might be a 4 horsemen type group, but I don't think we'll actually call them the 4 horsemen. I think it's Cody just teasing it right now.
So what do they call it if they're not going to be the horsemen?
Who knows? I mean, I don't even know if that actually would be a group. I'm still holding off for the whole Cornette's going to come in for his own little group, and that's what I'm waiting for. So I'm not even really excited at the prospect of the 4 horsemen group.
Right.
It's kind of like the NWO. I mean, it's even older than the NWO. It's been redone so many times.
Sure.
I hope they get something fresh.
Well, they could call it like I always love when they add the name 2000 to any team. They could just be like the 4 Horsemen 2000, and then boom, there you go. They have a brand new faction. Brian, do you have any thoughts about that? Do you think they're going to really go through with 4 Horsemen, or do you think that it's going to be a completely different name, and this is just kind of like they're trying to throw us off a little bit with all this teasing?
I agree a lot with Pat on that one. don't want them to, if they do establish any stable like that, I don't want them to go by the Four Horsemen. I think they just need to leave history where it is. I love that wrestling pays homage to itself all the time. I hate that so many groups lack the creativity to actually come up with something new sometimes. If you want to form a stable like that, that's great, but don't call yourselves, the Four Horsemen or the new Four Horsemen or the Four Horsewomen, so to speak.
Sure.
Things like that. Come on, man. You guys can come up with something new. You don't have to constantly piggyback off of the legends of yesteryear.
So what do we call them, though?
I have to disagree with everyone. I'm pretty sure Four Horsemen are going to come, and it is going to be called the Four Horsemen because Conrad owns the trademark, and there's a reason why he got the trademark for it. Tully and Arn's going to be in it managing, and it's going to be Cody, FTR, and Sean Spears. And I'm sure it's going to be formed here soon. And just because they've done too many teases and too many things on social media for it not to happen. And those are the four it seems to be centered around. All four of them have held up the four at one point in Dynamite.
Who did you say again? You said Cody,
FTR, and Sean Spears. And
sounds about right.
And then Tully and Arn's going to be in it as well as managers.
What about Hangman though, bro?
It's not going to be Hangman. Everybody thinks so. It's not.
But he's like a little Barry Windham. Come on. Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. Is there any possibility though, because Conrad owns the whole trademark, do you think that he's actually going to be showing up in AEW with it?
I mean, not he won't be on AEW. He'll allow AEW to use the trademark.
Oh yeah, I know he will. Yeah. I'm sure he wants to work with them, but I'm saying he'll just be like, you can only use it if I get a main event match. And yeah, no.
I doubt he's in.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
And I'll go and throw a bold prediction out. I think they get formed at All Out.
Ooh. Do you have any what do you think is going to happen? How do you see that kind of coming to surface?
I mean, if you don't have any thoughts, I thought you maybe had a plan at how they're going to get there. But I haven't quite got a plan yet on it.
Okay. Well, when you do, you know where to share
how exactly it's going to form.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it's going to happen soon, just because they've been teasing it for a while, and it's probably time to pull the trigger on it.
All right. Alrighty. Let's see. So, let's go to this next question. This one comes from KC, and I'm going to go to you, Brian, and then JR afterwards. This one, all right. So KC asks, what is the likelihood of cooperation between promotions, and what would some matches and angles you'd like to see? So I guess with interpromotional matches, I guess dream matches.
I'm gonna give a shorter answer than the person asking this probably had planned. There's already some cooperation going on between different promotions. You already see it. There's guys that are able to compete because of their contracts from one promotion to another. Jericho, Moxley, Brian Cage, and so on and so forth. We just go on with a list of AEW stars. You're seeing a lot of talk of some possibilities between NWA and AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Some matches and angles I'd like to see. God, this is its own conversation in itself.
Yeah, right.
Where to start? If you start with one and you miss one, fans are going to jump your ass. You didn't mention this group versus this group. Man. So from that, I have to pass this one on to JR.
JR.
We got another admin in a different group.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So many initials going on now. There's Pat and Cat, and there's Brian, which is
right. Yeah, I know.
Pat and Brian.
All right, so actually, JR. So instead of what do you think? Where do you see them potentially working? Not so much dream interpromotional matches, but where do you see them actually realistically? Who do you see AEW working with?
Just on a quick tangent, I get called RJ all the time by my incoming college freshmen, so I'm used to it. It's not a big deal. Right now is actually, in my opinion, the perfect time for interpromotional because you look at companies like Ring of Honor, Major League Wrestling, and NWA, Impact that can't run with crowds, and they have a smaller base. So when you think of the situation, if they can somehow create a partnership with AEW, it's going to create these dream matches for AEW. Also, it won't use up some of the possibility of AEW storylines for the future, because they're waiting for fans to come back, but also will give publicity to NWA, MLW, Ring of Honor, or Impact. Now, that as far as who I think it's more likely they can work with the NWA or Impact because Cody has had that relationship with, I can't think of his name, the Billy Corgan from NWA.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I think there is a possibility of some promotion with Impact. I think they're very open to it. I don't see Ring of Honor because they're working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's a lot of, from what I hear, there's a lot of negativity and bad blood between New Japan and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. So I just don't see that happening. I think Major League Wrestling, I think that there's a possibility, but it seems like there is. I think Court Bauer with Major League Wrestling is really intent on focusing on what he's doing and signing up guys to long-term contracts and not wanting talent to leave MLW. So I think it'll boil down to either NWA as well as Impact Wrestling. And I'll just throw out my three. I really want to see Cody versus Nick Aldis 3. I really want to see FTR versus the North or the Good Brothers. I know I know the FTR and Good Brothers have already, but I think in a new area and a new light and having the opportunity to do what they want to do, it would be extremely great. I think really if you look at All Out, I don't see an issue with FTR versus the North. Give publicity for Impact Wrestling. I think it's going to a great match to set up for All Out as we continue to wait for this pandemic to die out and they can create AEW can then focus on their storylines.
To add to that, I'm pretty sure, somewhere down the line we'll eventually get AEW New Japan partnership at some point. Not anytime soon, but at some point it'll happen. But right now, like as far as something that can happen, that I think is going to happen soon is Impact. There's already been talk on social media of it. FTR in the North have been gotten a thread recently saying that they wanted to face each other, and the head of Impact even got in there and said that they were cool with it. They just needed to get everybody on board with it. And Chris Jericho on his podcast with EC3 said that there is a top secret either project or something or angle that they're working on that no one else knows that they can't reveal yet. Which would indicate that EC3 probably is going to do something with AEW.
So you're saying that they're in retribution, basically, is what you're trying to tell me.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure Impact's going to work with AEW here soon.
That would be great. That would be great. Well, especially because, Don Callis aren't him and Jericho buddies? Like, I'm pretty sure they're...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're boys.
And Kenny Omega is...
Right, and Kenny, right. All those Canadian good brothers.
Yeah, as far as, matches, FTR in the North would be amazing. Hell, FTR and Motor City Machine Gun, or the Bucks Motor City Machine Gun, that'd be fucking amazing. And then... I'd like to see EC3 and MJF go at it.
Yep. I would like to see Johnny Swinger versus Orange Cassidy. Actually, that would blow the roof off.
Also, Hikaru Shida versus either Diana or Kali.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. Oh, by the way, what was the name, Kyle? What was the name of the promotion that when AEW initially formed? They said that they were having a tag tournament, and they had to they had ties with some promotion. I think it was in China, wasn't it?
Yeah, OWE.
OWE, that's what it is. I know they had issues, and I think they dissolved, right? I don't even think they're a company.
No, they're still a company. They
got new owners or something?
They run in Cambodia now.
Okay, okay. I knew something like changed hands, and I don't know what the hell happened, why it dissolved, but I guess that's a story for another time. But alrighty, let's keep this going. Let's go. Let's see. Alrighty. All right, Pat. This one goes to you, and I'll throw this to you and Brian. Let's see, Brian with a Y. Sorry, I'm not throwing it to myself. This one comes from Jacob. All right, and Jacob asks, what's next for Mox and Darby? Are they setting up for a Darby interruption during MJF match? Are they setting up for a tag team when Mox's title reign is over? What are your thoughts?
I'm hoping it's just going to be a good rub for Darby. I don't see either one of them turning heel, so I could see him, potentially being a tag team after this. So yeah, I'd like to see him have a couple more series of matches. Maybe do a cage match, or go all out with another street fight or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like, well, they already did the whole thing where they had a match, and then they respected each other. And then now they tagged, then they had a match again. So I don't know where they're going to go now. I don't know. I guess I could maybe see him getting involved in the MJF match, but I don't know. I really don't know.
That would be looking if they do that, but I mean, I would love to see it. Darby get a win over him. That's right. In my eyes, the best solution, but I don't see Mox doing that either. So
yeah. What about you, Brian? What do you think about this? I'll ask you the same question.
They're buddies for life, and they're both the type of guys that have each other's backs. Anytime something is going on in the ring, or the other is severely outnumbered, anything like that, you're going to see the other one run in, and any opportunity that they have to help give them back up. It's just how I see the relationship working from here. Future tag matches between them, yeah, they might tag a couple times down the road, depending on the situation, anytime the feud is right.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they're both guys that are out there to be the number one guy. They want the title. They have respect for each other. It doesn't mean that they've got to, literally kill each other just to take the title off of another, but you're going to see some other great matches between them. I don't see Darby being the one to take the title off of Mox in this run, at least. If Mox gets it again down the road, maybe.
Or maybe he could take it off of MJF. I could see him taking the title off of him. But I guess we'll have to find out if MJF gets title in the first place. But what are you going to say, JR?
To add to that.
Oh, Kyle. Sorry.
Yeah, to add to that, I agree with everybody that I don't think Mox and Darby are going to fight each other anytime soon. That they may tag or something. But as far as like what's next for them, pretty sure Darby's gonna be in a program with Brian Cage. They'll probably end up having a match at All Out. But you got to continue that
for sure.
Or either Brian. I'm sure we'll see Darby and Starks as well at some point, just to add to that as well. But like what everybody was saying, like I'm pretty sure like what everybody said, like how Mox and Darby are like pretty much just like they have a mutual respect for each other and they always got their back. So like you can tell that like it's not really like a mentor-student relationship, but like you can tell that there's a whole lot of respect, especially on Mox's side, just the way like after their match, after he like held Darby and like he was like you could tell he didn't want to do the paradigm shift, like he didn't want to hurt him, and he was telling him to stay down.
Yep.
But I think we'll see a lot of great stuff from these two, either tag teaming or if they ever do another match together. And like dude, I would love to see a lights out unsanctioned match between these two.
Oh, that would be great. I'm with you.
Hey,
keep going. Somebody just rung my doorbell.
Oh yeah. Go on. Yeah, Brian, what'd you have to say?
Perhaps we get Mox. Perhaps we get Mox and Darby tagging against MJF and Wardlow as a fallout of what just happened.
Potentially. Actually, now that I think about it, have they? Call me crazy. Have they tagged MJF and Wardlow, or are they just all been in singles?
My
memory is shot.
I don't recall a tag that they've ever been in.
I don't think so either, but I could be wrong.
Needs to happen.
Yeah. All right. So
ask that question one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I asked if have MJF and Wardlow tagged together?
Wasn't it on MJF's first tag match, the Jurassic Express?
Jurassic Express again? Yeah.
Fight for the Fallen.
Right. Okay.
Was it Fight for the Fallen or Fighter Fest?
Fighter Fest, maybe. I don't know, dude. I don't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So, but I can fucking tell you, stupid shit like when did Mortis debut and all that nonsense. Like, I don't know. My memory is weird, but all right. Let's keep it going. This one, I'm gonna throw this to you, JR, first. Let's see, and then Kyle, if you have an opinion about it. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. This one comes from Jacob. And Jacob asks you, JR, he says, when will the Initiative seal their first win and what will follow for them?
Oh God, I hope they get their first one soon. I've grown to be a big fan of Brandon Cutler. First of all, I think he looks great. Like, he's jacked and,
yep.
I mean, not like Brian Cage jacked, but he is fit AF.
Oh yeah.
And his ring gear, his wife makes him. Everything about it, I think, is amazing. I think he is a good talent. I'm not entirely sold on Avalon. I think he is a great talent in the ring. I remember seeing him in Championship Wrestling for Hollywood as well as some other NWA stuff he did. Mm-hmm. But man, I'm like, can we get these guys a win, please? Like, I'm begging you. Like, I know it's a running gag even on BT. The Young Bucks told Color, like, hurry, we're gonna get to 8 so that we can job on AEW Dark.
Yeah, right. What if, Kyle, do you think there's any potential that they actually take the belts off of Kenny and Hangman and as their first win?
I don't think they'll take it off Kenny and Hangman, but like it just now occurred to me, the running gag is them losing all the time. Mm-hmm. Are they the Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder?
Definitely.
A tag team? Is that what I wonder if that's what they're doing with them. Or are they just going to like keep having them get close and lose and then eventually have them get a big win and win the titles as their first win?
Pretty much. I mean, it kind of seems like
like how WWE did with Kurt Hawkins. They had him lose like over 200 something matches, and then he finally wins at WrestleMania.
Right. The thing I love though about the Initiative is that what's his name, Peter Avalon, just making fun of Cutler, saying that he stinks and like he's nothing. Yeah. But meanwhile, they're both losing, so I don't know. It's just a great dynamic. But let's see. Oh, let me get my questions out here. Alrighty. Let's see. Actually, wait, Kyle, did you answer that question? Did you? Oh, yeah, you did. Holy shit, I'm an idiot. So wait, do you think? All right, so I'll ask you flat out, Kyle. Do you think they'll actually pick up a win, or do you think this will just like where do you think it's going to go?
I think they'll pick up a win eventually. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon, though.
Yeah. All right.
I pick Full Gear.
Full Gear.
Okay.
Because they'll keep me on to Full Gear. After that, I'm going to lose interest in it. The story's been told a lot. I remember Mikey Whipper in ECW.
Yeah.
And on a different note, I remember seeing the Midnight Rockers in AWA when they're like trying to get the titles, and you can keep people stringing along that storyline for so long, but sooner or later people are going to give up. And I think, we're good with it because we find comedian,
right.
It's like comic relief, but eventually I think people will get tired off. So I'm getting it to Full Gear.
Full Gear. Okay. Yeah. I mean, even like Colin Delaney from the WWE CW version, and as recent as, James Ellsworth too, kind of in a way, was kind of like the total underdog guy. But, alrighty, let's go. All right, this one comes from MJF Scarf. Shout out MJF Scarf on Twitter. What's going on, MJF Scarf? I'm going to ask you, Brian, what's your honest feelings on Brandi and Allie, if they win the cup?
This is why I should have said that I wanted the deadly draw question earlier, because that would have been a really good one for me to answer. Because at first I was just going to say, wait, what's the deadly draw tournament? No, seriously, that's my thoughts on that whole thing. Why is that on YouTube? And they did not do enough build for it. I haven't really paid enough attention to it. I watched it, but I didn't care to watch it. I watched it because I have to. I got to review those. What's my honest feelings on if they do win the cup? I don't really care. What do you get if you win the cup? It's you win this tournament. There's no tag titles or anything like that. It seems like it's kind of built for them to win. And if they're not going to win, they're definitely going to lose in the finals to whoever beats them, and it's going to cause that rift between them. I don't see them breaking them up right now. That just seems like an early decision. Why would they want to tear that tag team up now? I don't want Brandy and Allie to win. I want Allie by herself or back with Butcher and Blade like she was. Cherry Bomb, whatever you want to do with her, but just don't have her tagging with Brandy. It's nothing against Brandy. I don't have a thing against Brandy. I really don't. I don't have an honest thing against Brandy. You can sit here and you can criticize her all day. She doesn't have any ring skill, blah, 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 blah. She's only in this position because who she's married to. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't have a personal thing against her as, if she wants to try to perform, she's got some talent. They've got the proper coaches and everything there to work with her. They can do so much to fix her, really polish her up and make her good. If she's got the ability and the talent to pull it off is the question.
Well, it seems like she wants it, right? I mean, she
definitely wants it. She shows it. She got the grip it takes.
Hey, I have to go back on what Brian was saying. I'm fairly certain, like this whole tournament, I wouldn't say the whole tournament was set up just for this. I think it's to test the waters of a women's tag division, because I know eventually they're going to bring in women's tag team titles, and this is like testing the water. But this whole tournament, I'm pretty sure the whole reason the way it was designed is for Brandy and Allie to lose in the finals to set up Brandy and Allie at All Out. I think this whole thing is set to destroy them as a tag team and have them face each other. But like what Brian was saying, though, like
Brian with an I or Brian with a Y?
Brian with a Y.
Now.
Yeah, but like I think the whole thing was set up to destroy that tag team. But like Brandy said, like in previous interviews, that she didn't want to be in the ring, that she didn't want to take that spotlight off anybody, and that she had no intentions of wrestling. She just wanted, and then all of a sudden she's suddenly back in the ring now. All of a sudden, so
a little weird,
but change there.
Unless, like you said, I mean, me personally, I don't see them winning. I think they're going to do the whole thing like you said, kind of. Yeah. Maybe get far into the tournament and then end up losing and then blaming each other, and there we go.
If they win, like say, I'm going to say it's going to be either Brandy and Allie's going to lose their next match, or they're going to lose in the finals. I'm hoping it's to TJ. I'm hoping it's to that team.
Yeah.
Or if they lose next week, I'm hoping it's going to be Ivelisse and Diamante versus TJ in the finals. But if they go all the way to the finals and they beat a team of Ivelisse and Diamante or TJ, people are going to be furious.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that they're going to have they're very self-aware. AEW, I feel like especially Cody and Brandy and all them, like they know what they have their finger on the pulse of all of us. So.
The Nightmare Collective.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So we've got a few more questions to go. So let's see. This one comes from Chris, and I'm going to throw this one to you, Pat. And he asks, if there is a 4 horseman type stable, who are your picks?
It would have to be Cody, Spears, and FTR.
Yeah.
With Arn as the manager. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's a logical choice.
Does anybody have any differing opinions? Because I'm pretty sure, Kyle, you also shared that earlier. JR, do you think there's anybody else that potentially gets in there?
Yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of factions, and I love nostalgia. It's like, to me, nostalgia is the greatest thing of all time. Mm-hmm. And I just don't see Spears fitting. Like, he's just I hate saying this. I feel like I kind of hold his WWE against him, his career.
Sure.
But even the stuff he's done in AEW, I mean, he just hasn't been on a certain level. And I think really when you look at the Horsemen, there were guys who were always the stars. I mean, let me rephrase that. Back in the 80s, obviously during the 90s, they were, for lack of a better word, and I'm just going to be brutally honest, they were bastardized in the 90s. Whether you saw Paul Roma or as much as I love of a Mongo McMichael, it just wasn't the same. I would go with Cody, FTR, and Hangman. And I think Hangman and FTR they just have a connection. I don't even think you don't even have to call them the Horsemen. You can call them the Mid-Atlantic Crew, because 3 of them are from North Carolina. You could somewhat say that Cody has roots in North Carolina because of the Dusty being a booker back in the Mid-Atlantic territory and geographical promotions. So those are my 4 I would go with. I mean, I can't find a better 4 than those if they're going to pull off a 4 horseman type stable.
All right. All right. Yeah.
To add a little something to that, everybody's, says that, Sean Spears hadn't been that great in AEW, and then they look at his WWE career and stuff and kind of hold that against him. Well, one match that I think got severely overlooked and does show that he can have a really good match is him and Cody at All Out. That was a really good match that a lot of people don't really talk about just because everything else that happened at All Out overshadowed it.
That's very true. And I was thinking too, like, especially with Sean Spears, I mean, if that chair shot hadn't gone that way, I mean, there's really nothing else that he could really hang his hat on since he's been in AEW. And I'm not saying that that's a fault on his own or anything, but it would be nice to see him kind of go somewhere and maybe sink his teeth into something. And I could see him kind of, hopefully if he does get the nod and he does go ahead and becomes whatever they call the 4 Horsemen or whatever this faction is, I do feel like this could be the thing that could kind of spark his whole trajectory, if you will, and kind of kickstart his career a little bit, because I think he deserves it.
I will say I don't think I think he's a good wrestler. I think he's a great talent. I just think, unfortunately, when you look at the Horsemen, he just, because of the run he's had, is just not up to that same speed. And I definitely could even see a situation where we're leading this way, and one of the things the Horseman has always done is kind of do a swerve. So let's say they throw up the 4 fingers and then they just clobber Spears and he's basically fed, and then that turns him into a massive babyface potentially.
That's true. All right. So this one comes from Pete. Thank you for the question, Pete. And I'm going to throw this. Let's go to you, JR. He says, "Is it time to take the title off of Moxley yet?" Ooh.
I'll say this in general. I'm giving 2020 a pass for everything because such a difficult year.
Yeah.
One of the things I think about when you take the title off of Moxley, and let me kind of pivot real quick to New Japan. They're currently in the middle of their New Japan USA Cup tournament where the winner gets a shot at the IWGP US title, which is Moxley. So if they take a title off of him, is it because Moxley needs to go fulfill some obligations with New Japan and defend that title? I think if you do take the title off of him for, let's say, at All Out, that's a lot of weight to put on MJF, who I think is, as great as he is right now, he is the long-term heel of professional wrestling for the next 10 to 15 years. Yeah. And I think that's kind of a hot shot. I would like, if they do take it off of him, I'd rather go the way of Kenny Omega at Full Gear, or somebody else, like if you go back to Brian Cage or Lance Archer or something like that, because I think that would be better for our current situation. I think it's too soon for MJF because he's even not, like I said, as good as he is going to be that Ric Flair type heel that we had in the 80s.
Sure. But you could also make the argument too that maybe it is time to give MJF the title, just because he is so good at drawing heat and getting people pissed off at him, and who knows how long we're going to be without crowds and all that stuff. So if he's able to do that, like through just him cutting a promo on TV, like into the camera, and people at home are getting pissed off, I mean, maybe he is the right person to do it. Maybe you don't wait.
That's true too. MJF is ratings.
Right. So who knows? But I mean, I think that we all can agree that he is, like you said, he's going to be one of the ones that's going to be there for the next, 15 years, as one of the top bad guys in AEW.
No, I agree.
Can I put a question out to the group?
Sure.
Okay, so if MJF doesn't win the title, how do you book it and protect him then? How are they gonna book the end of that match? Because he's got this winning streak going. So how do you protect that and not put the title on him at the same time? Because you're right, they're definitely building the company around him basically right now.
Easy. You have Wardlow calls them to lose the match, and you set up MJF and Wardlow.
Okay.
That soon? I feel like that's really.
Yeah, I think that's too early for that.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think it would hurt MJF that bad to take a loss to Mox.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Also, what JR was saying with Mox being the U.S. champion in New Japan, if he doesn't lose the belt at All Out, they're most likely going to strip him of that title because you can't have because if he goes to Japan because he can't wrestle in the U.S. with it. If he goes to Japan, their protocol is he has to quarantine for 2 weeks. So
true.
Off Dynamite for 2 weeks.
That's true.
If they do take the title off of him, then he's going to go over there and defend the title. But also to add to that, if anybody watched the most recent New Japan Strong, our fellow admin Alex made me aware of this. Commentary did not mention Mox at all. They even went out of their way to not name drop him.
Ooh. Well, that's not a good sign.
I don't think it's a good sign.
It was kind of weird. And he's only got one appearance left on his New Japan contract. So whatever's coming up, he's going to drop the belt, and then he'll be right back to AEW. So
yeah, that seems like what's.
That's a big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple more. This one comes from JP, and I'm going to ask you, Brian, with a Y. He asks, or she asks, thoughts on a post-pandemic AEW NJPW partnership. What do you think? Any potential there?
We were just kind of talking about that, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we kind of were, but I wanted to get his question in there.
Yeah, no problem with that. It is a good question. Thoughts on a partnership? I don't know, man. It's weird. A couple months ago, we had, guys showing up over there holding AEW titles and being mentioned as the champions and things like that. And here we are now where, they're not even mentioning certain people.
Right.
Going out of their way, something happened. I don't know what, but something. So.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. That's all backroom politics stuff between the companies.
Yeah, I mean AEW guys. AEW guys still mention. I don't know if they've done it on Dynamite before, but I mean on BTE I've heard them drop. I think Kenny's even worn New Japan shorts in an episode, and they made a comment about it, and so I mean I don't know if it comes from their side so much as it does. It seems like the New Japan side feels like they were burned a little bit by whatever happened with the Elite leaving and stuff. But all right. And this last question comes from Anderson. Sorry.
Anderson.
And their question is, who would be the best talent to steal from AAA or CMLL? JR, do you follow any of the promotions down there?
I do follow a little bit, especially when Lucha Underground was going on with AAA wrestling.
Right.
From what I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that there was a death in CMLL, one of the bookers or head businessman, and it's causing a lot of political issues with CMLL, and they're talking about a buyout, AAA buying out CMLL. I literally just read this earlier this week, so I don't know how much truth it is to it, but it's like I said, 2020, everybody gets a pass right now because there's some very, very interesting times going on and just in the world in general outside of the United States.
Yeah, gosh. Well, I mean, CMLL, they have their relationship with MLW. So I don't know if how flexible they're going to be and stuff with, although I guess the question doesn't really talk about co-promotions. It just asks which promotion would they steal from. So, I mean, Kyle, do you have any names that you want to throw out there?
I can't remember the name. I think it was something Taurus.
Ray Taurus?
Maybe, or it was either Taurus or Torres or something like that. I forgot what Triple Mania it was, but there was one dude that had a singles match that was just absolutely insane. And I can't remember his name.
Aerostar? I don't know.
Aerostar is pretty cool, but
he just falls from the roof. He just does like 30-foot dives.
I think maybe maybe Wagner Jr. would be good too.
Okay. All right.
I would.
Yeah, I mean,
for example, I know Laredo Kid had some interesting matches and Impact Wrestling when AAA was kind of working with Impact. I like Daga when Daga was in. Excuse me, not Daga. Drago when he was in Lucha Underground. A guy who has a big following in AAA in Mexico, I don't think he would leave, but as Psycho Clown, I mean, he's like their big star right now over there.
True.
And I think it is Taurus you're talking about. He looks like a bull.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I just know he did some insane, like, 450 or 630 flip on the apron. I was just like, what the fuck?
Are you El Torito? Are you talking about El Torito?
I'm not sure who.
No, there is a guy, like, legit, his name is Taurus, and he is legit a bull. Like, he has this big, giant latex mask.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
And that's why he looks like a bull.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I say get all the clown, because, like, AAA is always fun to watch because there's really just, like, so many clowns. They're all, like, Psycho Clown or,
Psycho
Psycho
Clown's the biggest one. And then there's Murder Clown.
Murder Clown, the Dave the Clown, and just
Dave the Clown.
Yeah, literally.
His name is Dave the Clown, and he wrestles it.
Legit.
Oh my! Wow. All right, that might be my favorite wrestler.
They were a whole stable, and some time ago, they turned on Psycho Clown, and Pagano had joined with the Clown, and like they were like the Killer Clown Circus, something like that.
That's amazing.
And it made Psycho Clown. It's like, I mean, a massive star in AAA, and I think back in, I believe it was in 2016, because if I remember correctly, it was the same night that Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring.
Uh-huh.
And what they did was this feud between Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner, it was mask versus mask, and it was the biggest ratings they had on Televisa in Mexico because they aired it right after the Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor boxing fight.
Oh, that's smart. Piggyback off of that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But Psycho Clown's a huge star, though.
If anybody's never watched AAA, I highly recommend watching a Triple Mania. It's usually like free on Twitch or it's just a couple $. It's like the most fun you'll have watching wrestling in like a long ass time. Like I've watched one time, had no idea what was going on. It was an absolute blast, and like everybody just Triple H just doesn't care about music copyright. They were just it was if somebody just had an iPhone had like an iPod plugged up, and they were shuffling music, and it was just random music. Like somebody came out to Apple Bottom Jeans.
Oh my god!
And then like everybody else was coming out to Bon Jovi. One person came out to Batista's theme song. I was sitting there watching it. I was like, "Oh shit, Batista's here!" I was like, "Oh wait,
nope."
Like the main event of that one I was watching, it was hilarious because like I thought I was watching a tag. I thought it was a 6-man tag for the longest. I was just sitting there watching it, and like it looked like it was a 6-man tag. There was literally 2 people on the aprons like they were waiting for a tag.
Right.
All of a sudden, somebody like did a big move and pinned somebody, and then that person was the sole winner, and I was just like so confused.
Oh my gosh!
But it's an absolute blast watching Triple Mania. I highly recommend it.
Well, even that's the one with Vampiro's on commentary, right?
Yeah.
That's just your money's worth right there. I mean, the guy is fucking amazing on commentary. It's hilarious, and also he's insightful.
Yeah, the other thing too with AAA, and I know we're going off topic now, but when they get triple Maia, is how they say it, is, I mean, every single match is basically a title match because they have a cruiserweight title, they have a mixed tag team title, a trios title, tag team title, a mega champion, a regular champion, and like there's so many stipulations from ladder matches, a giant cage match, and when they get to like the big rivalries where they have what's called lucha de apuestas, which is you're basically risking your mask or your hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insanity. The last one I watched was when El Hijo de Fantasma, which is now Santos Escobar in NXT, he had lost his mask and he was in there with Pentagon Jr., Psycho Clown, and LA Park. And I mean, it was just a very bloody affair. And everybody was getting their masks torn apart, and it was in a cage, and it was just insanity. And it's kind of, sometimes if you don't hear the English version, you kind of, even though for me I'm Hispanic and my Spanish isn't exactly good, you just know you're seeing insane. And they've had Brian Cage and Rich Swann and Tessa Blanchard and Taya and a lot of people that we are familiar with that are also on those cards too in the past.
Oh yeah. So actually, I guess going back to Anderson's question, I guess, didn't they kind of already poach Hybrid 2? Because didn't they both work down in Mexico for a while?
Yeah, Jack Evans and
Yeah, but they also came from Lucha Underground.
Well, true. Yeah, right.
That's the funny part, was I'm more familiar with the Lucha Underground work, and Angelico was like a massive babyface versus I can't remember what their stable name was, but it was Johnny Mundo, Jack Evans, PJ Black, and Taya. And so when they started teaming together as H2, I was like, man, these guys are like bitter rivals with each other. And now they're like this amazing tag team together.
Right now they're just BFFs, but yeah, that's wrestling for you. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. Guys, thank you. This was awesome. This was a lot of fun. We got to do this again.
Yeah, we got one more question from Carmen. Remember?
Oh fuck! How can I forget? How can I forget? We can't. Yeah. All right. We can't forget that one. So let's go back to Carmen. Let me pull up. There it is. Thank you for reminding me, Kyle.
You want me to ask this question?
Sure. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead for it, JR?
So Carmen asks the co-host, if you could dump a barrel of liquid on any of your co-hosts, who would you cover and what would the liquid be? So let's start with Kyle.
Let's see here. I would go with MJ, and it would be the slime from Nickelodeon.
Ooh, okay. All right.
It'd be just for enjoying Jay White.
Right. He would have to be dressed as Jay White or something, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. I would, if I were to dump something on, it was just their head or, you know what? Oh, actually, I'm sorry.
Barrel, a 55-gallon drum. Barrel.
Okay. Brian, I'm sorry, but we share a namesake. You spell it the evil version way, so I'm going to have to dump it on you. However, it's going to be, I'm going to dump that, what have you been, sinking your teeth in lately? It's, what is it? Apple Jack?
Oh, yeah, man, I got that Peach Jim Beam right now.
Peach Jim Beam, that's what it is. So I'll cover you in Peach Jim Beam. I'll do you a favor, but it's also doing me a favor because if I cover you with it, you'll be just completely you'll be wrecked. You won't be able to kind of, I don't really know what I'm saying. So I'm going to just keep going. That fell off the tracks, but that's okay. But you're welcome, Brian. I'll give you some of that peach whiskey that you fancy.
I'll guzzle as much of it down as I can while it dumps over me.
Yeah. Pat, what about you?
As the newbie here, I'm going to pass on answering that. I'm just going to say thanks for letting me join you guys today. This was fun. So.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for hanging out and being on with us.
What about anyone doesn't know? Pat is our fearless leader and the creator of the AEW group. Without Pat, none of us would know each other.
That's true. That is
this poor guy puts up with so much shit.
You're a great. I love working with you guys.
Yeah, man. Hey, this was a blast. Thanks for coming on, JR. And also, I guess everybody go check out WrestleJoy. JR, how can they find you on Twitter?
First, it's been an honor and pleasure talking to you guys. I love a chance to talk to fellow fans about wrestling, and this was such a great opportunity. And I really appreciate it and look forward to working with you guys again. Yeah. And my Twitter is @Prof of Wrestling. I am the #AllEliteProfessor. And just for the record, I am an educator. I am an actual professor, and that's how I got the name.
So it's not just a gimmick.
No, it's legit. I teach freshman seminar courses as well as international criminal justice.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. All right, cool. Well, we'll all be reaching out to you. And I guess, yeah, again, go check out WrestleJoy. We already know where to find Kyle. But wait, where can we find, before I go I'll throw it to you, Kyle, but Pat, what about you? Where can anyone find you on the interwebs? I guess in the group, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty much active on Facebook. I don't really do the Twitter too much.
Yeah. I'm trying to get into Twitter now myself, but it's fun. You know, I like it better than fucking Snapchat. I don't fucking understand Snapchat or TikTok. TikTok can go fuck off. But yeah. And of course, Brian with a Y. It's always a pleasure talking to you, sir. Where can people find you on Twitter or anywhere?
Same. I'm mostly just on Facebook. I gotta answer Carmen's question though.
Fuck! I'm so sorry.
55-gallon drum. I'm dumping a 55-gallon drum of. You guys familiar with muriatic acid or hydrochloric acid? Same thing.
Sure.
Dump that on. It's going all over. It's going all over MJ for his crimes against hippos and for not being on this goddamn roundtable discussion that he seemed so excited for.
Right?
I'm gonna drive to you, man. It's only a couple states away.
I guarantee he's gonna message the group chat right after we finish this call and say,
he is. He's gonna come.
Just woke up.
Yeah.
Yep. He's gonna come up with the most bullshit excuse. Fucking love that kid.
Well, you're really going in on him. Shit. Oh boy. Yeah, sorry, MJ. I mean, it's only because you're not here.
That's going to make me feel bad. He's going to be like, yeah, man, somebody in my family passed away late last night. And I'm going to be like, damn, now I feel bad, but I'm still dumping that 55-gallon drum all over your ass because of the crimes against hippos.
Jesus. All right. Yeah. Guys, thank you very much for listening. And, all of you guys, thank you so much for taking the time and talking wrestling. This is fun. Cool. And, please, go follow the AEW All Elite Wrestling Discussion Facebook group. We got to throw that plug in there. I guess, Kyle, do you have anything else that you any plugs that you want to throw out there or anything before you take us out?
Yes. Make sure you check out WrestleJoy, www.wrestlejoy.com. Me and JR are writers over there, and I think JR is going to do Dynamite previews with me weekly.
Very cool.
For the site. If you also buy merch from our friend Carmen at CarmenChildersAVTech.com, and if you need them for any of your services, if you're around the area, any AV tech services, he can pretty much do anything. I highly recommend him. If you're a Discord user, consider joining the AEW Discord, discord.gg/AEW. And also, big reminder, next Saturday, not next Wednesday, next Saturday, Dynamite will be on at 6 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Not on Wednesday.
Not on Wednesday. However, thank you for saying that. Next Wednesday, I believe I shared it. I've been sharing it on the other podcast that we record for Marked Out. But next Wednesday, let's see, what is the date? That would be the 19th, I believe. Is that right? The 19th. Yeah. We're going to be having DJ Caution doing another DJ set. So he's going to be doing something from 6 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. He's going to be doing wrestling themes and all sorts of shit. So that's going to be fun. So there won't be any kind of NXT. I'm sorry, there won't be any AEW. There will be NXT, but we're still going to be putting stuff out there. I guess it's going to be on our Facebook page. It's also going to be on Caution's Twitch channel. So it's going to be fun. We're gonna have a good time next Wednesday. But I guess we're going to do something. I don't know. I guess we'll have to talk about that off the air about what we're going to do for Dynamite. It's going to be on a Saturday, so maybe we could do something. But that's a talk for another time. But anyway, thank you guys for listening, and go subscribe to MARKEDOUT Wrestling Podcast too, so you get notifications for this show and for any other shows too that we record. But I guess MJ's not here to take us out. Kyle, you're the one that also always takes us out, so please do the honors. You can do whatever the fuck you. Oh,
he just messaged.
He just
got
texted
my internet back. I'm gonna kick him in the balls. I just got my internet back. Whatever.
God.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, thanks for doing this. This was a fun episode. It was fun to chat with everybody during our free time. Thanks for everybody listening. And until next time, we must bid you adieu. Goodbye.
And good night, Ben.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Marked Out Podcast is produced and edited by You Record Studios and from Charlotte, North Carolina. Subscribe, follow, and listen to us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Download the podcast by following us at podbean.com or subscribe on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and give us an honest and fair review and rating. Finally, if you have enjoyed our product and would like to see us grow, please donate to us by visiting the donation link below our live video, or you can donate via Venmo and Cash App at the handle RavePro. That's RAVEPRO.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.